It's time for Sunday check-in. Y'all ready to talk? I'm driving. I meant to be home by now, but I got caught up in Home Goods. So please excuse the sun and the glare and maybe even noise if you hear it. Where am I? I hope y'all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's coming to a quick end, ain't it? Mine, I feel like I was kind of robbed a little bit of my weekend because I had to work on Saturday. And most of y'all know I typically don't work the weekends, but I kind of volunteered for this Saturday. It's been almost a year since I've had to work a Saturday. So some of the things that I would normally do on a Saturday didn't get done. So now I'm finding myself kind of crunching here on Sunday, trying to fit in some of the things that I would normally do on Saturday. Yeah, but like I said, I found myself in Home Goods knowing good and well I had no need to be in there. But really, I'm looking for a couple of things for my son's room because I'm trying to give him a big boy room. You know, it's time to get rid of the Spider-Man sheets and Spider-Man curtains and stuff. And, you know, he's a teenager and I just want to update his room. I want to give him a big boy room. So slowly but surely, I'm getting him together. So, you know, I'm always looking for something that would help in getting his room to the way that I want it. But anyway, how y'all doing? Everybody enjoying their day, enjoying the sun? I'm so glad it's done raining. Oh my goodness. It seems like we've been getting flooded. But I won't complain because that's better than an ice storm. That's better than, you know, shoveling snow and freezing. So I'm not complaining, but this rain has been crucial. So I see I got a few of my friends and family on today. As we normally do on Sunday, we just check in. We have a seat on the couch and we see how everybody is doing and talk about some things. And y'all know this is the first Sunday of June. And so we're starting a new topic of discussion. So for the month of June, we're going to be talking about cycles. We're going to be talking about tendencies. We're going to be talking about curses. We're going to be talking about propensities. All of those things that we deal with. Everybody has had to deal with some type of cycle, some type of tendency, some type of web that we've all had to get untangled from at one time or another. Some people, some of us are still in a cycle, and everybody's life cycle is different. You know, it's a part of the human experience. God has to deliver us all from something. But today, you know, as I was, you know, driving, one thing that came to my mind, I don't know about any of you, but have you ever had issues with your washing machine where your washing machine wouldn't kick over to the next cycle, whether it be the rinse cycle, whether it be the spin cycle? It seemed that it just wouldn't kick over, or it would skip a cycle. So you go to get your clothes out of the wash and all of a sudden you notice that they're soaking wet. For whatever reason, a cycle either skipped or a cycle didn't complete. And so you found yourself, or like I have in the past, I found myself having to manually go down there, turn the dial, and get it to where it should be. And maybe it did that for a period of time and it had to be serviced or something had to be done so that the full cycle would run its course. And so that was something that kind of dropped in my mind today as we're talking about cycles. And I didn't get a chance to write down my thoughts. Y'all know I like to write down my thoughts so I stay organized. But in my thoughts and in our conversation, I like to, stay on track because I can veer off. So anyway, thinking on the lines of the washing machine, sometimes it doesn't complete a cycle because for whatever reason, it just gets stuck. It just gets stuck. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been stuck. I've been in some places in my life, whether it be in my health, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in finances, where you just been stuck, and you just can't really find out or figure out, how did I get back here? I thought that I got past this, or I thought that I was healed, or I thought that I was over it. How did I get back right here where I am? A vicious cycle, a vicious cycle. And so tonight, I just want us to talk about that a little bit. Anybody ever find themselves in a cycle? Find yourself stuck at a place where you remember where you thought you was over that phase of your life, or you thought that you were over that issue or that circumstance, and you find yourself right back to the same place, almost like being on a hamster wheel. You ever just found yourself stuck in a cycle? And so I just want to talk about that a little bit tonight. I wanted to talk about that because sometimes we'll beat ourselves up, or we'll find somewhere to sit our blame. I was talking to my husband last week sometime, and I was talking about a situation that I had encountered. Now, those of y'all that know me, I'm very compassionate. I'm always, looking to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. That's just my personality. That's just the way I'm wired. I always want to see the best in the individual, whether they mean to do wrong or not. I find myself trying to make an excuse for somebody's issue. And so we were talking about a situation where a person was having a bad day. And I'm assuming they were having a bad day. And so here I come along, and in my mind and what I perceived, they had to find somewhere to sit that anger. And so they set it on me because I was the closest thing there, or maybe even the easiest thing to target. Everybody tends to want to sit their anger somewhere. We always got to find a reason or somewhere to place that thing, because we don't like the idea of, I'm just angry. I got to find somewhere to sit it. I got to be able to justify why I'm lashing out, why I'm going off, why I'm cussing, or why I'm doing this, or why I'm doing that. So the individual found themselves sitting their anger on me. But because God has wired me a certain way to where I'm compassionate, and I'm giving that person the benefit of the doubt, not taking it personal, whatever. I allowed that thing to be as it was. But that's a tendency and a cycle that I've noticed that particular individual has. They always find themselves, what's the word that I'm looking for? Because I'm trying to be discreet at the same time. But I done lost the point. But moving on, we find ourselves in a cycle of doing some of the same things over and over and over. And so we try to figure out, and we sit back and we wonder, why? There's always a common denominator as to why we do what we do. Always. And so what I found for myself, what I got to do, and I'm not claiming that this live or this particular discussion is a fix-it-all. We just having a conversation. And I'm talking to y'all about my own experience, and y'all feel free to chime in and say what you've experienced. But one thing that I've come to figure out about a cycle is that the first thing we got to do is diagnose why. We got to get that common denominator and figure out what has caused this situation to happen, or what's the thing that always causes me to get back to this point. And so figuring out our cycle, figuring out the why, figuring out the common denominator, we got to take a look within. If it's a relationship, if you keep finding yourself hurt, or if you keep finding yourself scorned or battered or abused, not saying that abuse is your own fault, but why do I keep ending up in this same position over and over? What am I doing? And see, it's easy to try to sit our anger or sit our situation on somebody else, but we can always come back around and try to pinpoint, what are we doing? What role do we play in some of the things that we go through? And a lot of times I see, even within ourselves, it's easy to blame somebody else. It's easy to push the blame. It's easy to come up with an excuse. But it's time for us, just as people, to really sit down and look at the person in the mirror and say, how did I get here? How did I get here? What did I do? What role did I have in where I am and why I keep getting to this place? And so today, my pastor, it was funny that we're even talking about this. My pastor has been teaching out of John. And today we were in John chapter 4. Look at it when you get a chance. But he was talking about the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. And one of the things that really stuck out to me that relates to this particular topic was that Jesus had to address the fact that she not only had one husband, not two, not three, not four, but 5. And she was in the process, and she was seeing a 6th person. And so she had a cycle of bad relationships. Anybody ever had a bad relationship? Just bad relationships. And she found herself in a situation where she was ashamed. The Bible talks about how she went to the well at noon. She went to the well in the afternoon. And it was customary during that time that the women went to the well to draw water in the morning. Why? Because it was too hot at high noon to be going to try to get water for the rest of the day. So the women would go early in the morning, before the high noon, before the sun would be high and the heat of the day. And so she found herself going when everybody had already been there, because she was tired of people talking about her. People had recognized her cycle. People had pinpointed her issue, because it was a tendency, it was a cycle, and it had become noticeable. Has your cycle become noticeable to where not just you, but other people have picked up on where you're stuck? That's a hard place to be. It's a real hard place to be. So tonight, I just was looking at my own cycles. And one of the cycles that I've been battling is weight. Up and down. For years I've been battling, going up and down. And I had to look at, what is it that causes me to get off track? What is it that's causing me to do good for a period of time, but then to fall off? And I'm still searching myself. I can't say that I have it all figured out. But one of the things that I can say in my own personal cycle, in my own personal, tendency, is where I fall off is when I go through a bout of, I want to say, I went through an issue of hurt. I went through a season of, I went through a season of depression. So when hardship comes, that's when I tend to, my weight gain comes from grieving. And so that's where I picked up. So I had went through a season of doing real good. It was just coming off. It was just falling off. And I was so excited about, losing, and so excited about a change in life, getting smaller. And I gave away all my clothes because I couldn't fit anything anymore. And I was just really excited excited about the new path that I was on, and I was excited about the change in mind, and I had discovered that I had to have a change in mind in order to have a change in body. I had discovered that about myself, and I changed my relationship with food and the way that I looked about intake of food and, grocery shopping, and I learned my own body. But then when life happened, when I went through a season of grieving, when I went through a season of loss, when I went through a season of depression, when I went through that, I found myself retreating to food. So I found my common denominator. I found my own common denominator, that I looked to food to comfort me. I looked to food to take up the time that I was spending thinking about my issue, so I retreated to food. And so that's what we all got to do. When you find yourself in a cycle, and you know what, going back to my own situation, there were other times that I had lost weight. There were other times that I did really good. And I had to look back and say, wow, what caused you to gain again? And then you lost, you got motivated, you got disciplined, you got excited, you got on the right path. But what caused you, not one time, not two times, not three times, but what caused you to fall off your own bandwagon? And so that's what we all have to do. We have to take a good look within and figure out, why do I do what I do? What's the common denominator? And we all got a common denominator. We all have one. What it could be financial for you. You may go through a season where you're doing really well, where you're not struggling as hard as you were, where your bills are paid, and all of a sudden you fall off. It could be in your health, it could be in a relationship, it could be in your walk with Christ. Whatever the situation may be, we all got to take a good look within and see, what am I doing? See, it's easy to blame all this stuff on the devil. It's easy. It's easy to push this off. Well, it's because, I lost my job, or well, it's because they don't like me, or well, it's because this one didn't come through for me, or it's because of my husband, or it's because of this, or it's because of that. No, what role did you play? What role did I play? And it's a hard conversation, because don't nobody want to be the blame. Don't nobody want to take the blame for a mess up. But that's a part of our own maturity and our own growth. There's cycles that have to be broken in our own life so that we can journey ahead. And you know what? If we could be honest, every now and again, something gonna happen where we get off course. That's called being a human. That's called being a human. And I don't care how spiritual you say that you are, or how in tune that you may be. Every now and again, the washer gonna get off cycle. Every now and again, something gonna there's gonna be a monkey wrench. Every now and again, life is gonna happen. Every now and again, there's gonna be a test. But we have to be big enough, we have to be wise enough, we have to be mature enough to say, let me take a look within and see what role did I play in my own journey, getting the paths crossed, the wires crossed, the signal lost. At what point? We got to be big girls and big boys, and we live in a time now where everybody want to push the blame off on somebody else. Don't nobody like to take ownership anymore. Nobody like to take ownership. And like I said earlier, it is always so easy to make an excuse and to push the blame on somebody else. So this is a call to maturity. This is a call to maturity. We want to do better. I've been saying that, remembering some of the other lives. That's something that I'll always say. We want to do better. We want to be better. We want to speak better. We want to grow up. We want to wise up. We want to stay victorious, even though we may have some hardships and we may have some bumps in the road. That still doesn't take away the fact that you win. In the end, you always win. But how long will it take for us to overcome and for us to get back on track? It solely comes back to us. What am I willing to do? What am I willing to own up to in my own life? You know, a vicious cycle. And you know, a cycle only becomes vicious when we refuse to take a look within. When we refuse to have times of introspection. And that's one of the hardest things, is to quiet our own thoughts and to get everybody out of your ear and to get before God and say, you know what? Something got to give, because I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over. I'm tired of these dead ends. I'm tired of these bad relationships. I'm tired of these hardships. I'm tired of my money always being funny. I'm tired of always being mad. I'm tired of always going through the same thing over and over. God, show me the common denominator. That's what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to. And so that's what we're talking about. For the month of June, I want to talk about generational curses. What does that really mean? What does that really mean, a generational curse? A propensity. That was something that dropped in my spirit earlier when I made the post about propensities. Something that tends to happen to us. That's what a propensity. A tendency. That's what a propensity is. It's a tendency. A tendency based off of past behavior. A tendency that's based upon how we grew up. Things that we're used to. That's what a propensity is. And so we want to talk about those things. We want to talk about things that's been passed down to us. You know, a routine. Something that we're just so used to doing because we've done it all of our lives, and it doesn't necessarily have to be right, but that's how we're used to doing the thing. And so sometimes there has to be a break in the road so that we can go a different direction. I ran into that today. I was running some errands and I had my GPS on, and it told me to make a left on a certain street. Now, mind you, I was in an area where there was a lot of new development. It was a lot of new development, and I was going to a housing area that looks like it's fairly new. And so it was telling me to make a left, but all of that left was like totally blocked off by like trees and stuff. And it looks like once upon a time that used to be a road over there, but I could no longer go left because there was a break in the road. I could only go right. And so we got to ask God, cause a break in the road, cause a break in this cycle. Help me to go a different direction. Close off the area that I'm used to always going, or better yet, give me the discipline to not go left when you want me to go right. That's what it boils down to, because sometimes God ain't going to build a wall. Sometimes God won't build a break. He's calling for us to be mature and wise enough to go a different way. To go a different way. Discipline. And I know a lot of us don't like to talk about that. Even going back to the weight issue that I was talking about with myself. At the end of the day, it's discipline. I don't care if you're having an issue with your money. Maybe some of y'all are trying to save up money because you want to buy a new car or you want to buy a new house. And maybe you've been praying and asking God to supply the money, but God is trying to show you that you already have the money. You just need the discipline to stop spending the money that he's already supplied. Did you know that? Sometimes we're asking God to give us things that we already have, but we don't know where it's at because it's hidden in our undisciplined selves. It's already within you. Sometimes we're asking God to heal us or to deliver us, but he's saying it's already within you. Tap into it. And the key is discipline. Tap into it. That's the word for the night, y'all. We got to tap into the things that God has already supplied. Tap into it. Be disciplined enough to unlock the door that God has already in front of us. We think that door is a hindrance, but really we don't realize and recognize that we got the key, and the key is called discipline. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The key to the door that's locked in our lives is discipline. And that key is already in our pocket. My God, my God. The key is already in your pocket. It's called discipline. Discipline. Maybe you're looking for a new job and you can't understand how come it hasn't come through. Or maybe you're looking for something to happen within your business or something to happen within your life, and you can't understand how come that thing hasn't come through or you haven't broke through in that particular area. It just may be the discipline aspect. Discipline. Wow. Wow. Discipline. And as simple as that sounds, I just keep saying that over and over because it's ringing in my spirit. As simple as that is, it's easy for us to say, all I got to do is get disciplined, but it's the work that's involved in it. It's taking ownership of the fact that there's a lack there, and that it takes motivation. It takes courage. It takes a want to. Do you want it bad enough? And sometimes we ask people to pray for us for certain things in our lives, and they can pray until they're blue in the face. But until we have the motivation and the discipline to do what's necessary concerning that area of our lives, it won't happen. Sometimes we'll be asking God to do a certain thing for us when God is looking for us to do our part. And we wonder, God, how come you're not doing it? Or how come you won't open the door? Or how come you won't make a way? Or how come you won't send this? Or how come? What have you done? What have you done? We have to participate in our own breakthrough. We have to participate in our own miracle, because God has given us dominion. He has given us power. He has given us all the keys. He's given it to us. But it takes discipline, and it takes us walking in. Now, that may seem easy. It may seem, like nothing. We could just say a thing. But the discipline that's necessary to carry out, the discipline that's necessary to move forward in a thing, we need it. We need it. And so that's my prayer. That is my prayer for us, is that we will have the discipline that's necessary for us to break the cycle. To break the cycle. We need the discipline. We need the discipline. And watch us begin to move forward. Watch us begin to go to our next level. Watch us. Watch it happen for us. Even within our community, we keep seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. We got to find out where and what we're doing that's causing us to skip in our process and come back full circle where we thought we left off at. It's time for us to break the cycle. It's time for us to do it. God has given us the authority to do so. What we have to do is take a good look within, find out what the common denominator is, and attack that thing. Attack the common denominator. If your common denominator is overeating, ask God to give you the discipline to stop. If you can't seem to get ahead in your money situation, ask God, what is causing my money to not come together? What is causing me to be in lack all the time? Where is the common denominator? What if it's the same process of being with different men over and over and over again? What is the common denominator in failed relationships for you? If you keep having issues with your children, what's the common denominator? We have to stop and take a good look within and say, okay, I got to look at this thing for what it is. What is the common denominator? And once I figure that thing out, I got to attack that thing. And I have to have the discipline that's necessary to move forward. Not to keep backtracking, not to skip the vital steps, but so that I can move forward in my process. That's what we got to do. Is it easy? No, but it's possible. Not easy, but possible. If God be our strength, if God be our courage, we can do it. We can do it. And so whether your cycle be relationships, whether your cycle is in your health, whether your cycle is within your job or your financial situation, whether your cycle is spiritual, whatever it is, let's ask God to show us the common denominator. What's the thing that's throwing a monkey wrench in my cycle? Why can't I complete a cycle? Why do I keep finding myself back at the same place where I thought that I came out of? Find that common denominator. Find it. Find it. Just open up your eyes and see things for what they are. Don't turn a blind eye to that thing. Don't try to blame the next person. Don't try to shift the blame to somebody else. Don't try to sit your anger or your frustration on somebody. Deal with that common denominator and let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's see some progress in our lives. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's really what it boils down to at the end of the day. We lie to ourselves so much. We do. We lie to ourselves and we believe those lies because it's easy. It's easy. It's easy for us to try to convince ourselves that, we're one way or we're one place or we're doing certain things. But at the end of the day, if you could be honest with yourself, then you could be honest with God and He'll give you the strength to move forward. But see, sometimes we lie to ourselves because it hurts. It hurts to believe that we've caused some of the hardships, some of the issues that we're going through. Some of us we're our worst enemy at times. We're our worst enemy. Yeah. Some of the stuff that we're going through, we did it to ourselves. Truth be told. Yeah. Yep. And because we fail to see things for what they really are, and sometimes we see it, but we'll make an excuse for it. We'll justify our own mess ups. But see, when it comes to somebody else, we'll be quick to point out where somebody else messed up. Yeah, we're good at that. We're good at reading somebody else. We're good at pinpointing where somebody else messed up or where they dropped the ball. But when it comes down to pinpointing our own issue, oh, it's hard. It's hard. Introspection is taking a good look within. And in order to do introspection, what I found for myself, I can't talk for nobody else, it takes being quiet and quieting your own thoughts, because sometimes there's so much going on in the brain. There's so much going on. You're hearing what somebody else said. You're reading what you see on Facebook. You're looking at what's going on in the news. You're thinking about what your kid got going on at school. Then the enemy is speaking. It's so much noise. And when I'm talking about quieting yourself, it's shutting down the noise and allowing the Holy Spirit to really minister to you about you. Minister to me about me. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't always easy to do that, because it causes for us to completely get outside of ourselves, and it causes for us to quiet everything intentional. See, stuff like this don't happen by accident. When you intentionally say, God, I'm shutting everything down. I don't want to read a post. I don't want to read an article. I don't want to talk to my friend. I don't want to talk to mama. I don't want to hear nothing but you. I don't want to hear nothing but you. It takes intent to do that. It takes intent. And then even thinking about praying. When you take time to pray, that's the reason why prayer, see, a lot of times we think we praying, but we really not. Because a lot of times we don't take time to listen. You haven't thoroughly prayed until you've listened. And sometimes we just got a lot of words, crying and weeping and travailing and speaking. But a part of prayer is sitting down and listening. God, what are you saying to me? That's the sweet hour of prayer right there. When you take time to listen. That's how we break those cycles, is when we take time to listen. Listen to the instruction. Listen and hear what it is that the Spirit of the Lord is saying about us. Not a word for your neighbor, not a word for your kid, not a word for your husband. And some of you that are preachers or teachers of the Word of God, one of the worst cycles that we could find ourselves in is studying for someone else, but not studying for ourselves, not listening for our own lives. We have to take time to break those cycles of constantly pouring, but not being refilled. Not hearing for ourselves. See, we always want to hear for somebody else, but hearing for yourself. What is God saying to you for you? Oh, my God. My God. Getting quiet and listening for directions, listening for our next move, listening for our next word, listening for what it is that God will have for you to do today, tomorrow, or in the future. We want to break cycles. And see, what I found, going back to that, if y'all watch from the beginning, going back to what I was saying about the washing machine, how a washing machine will sometimes get off cycle and a wash machine will skip a cycle. You know what happens? There's such a waste of energy when cycles are not completed, when cycles are being skipped, because you have to manually go down there and restart. So what could have been done in 35 minutes is taking a whole hour. So there's wasted energy There's wasted water. Are you wasting time and energy because of a bad cycle? Are you wasting precious moments of your day because of cycles? And I'm talking about myself right now. I was just telling my husband here recently that I just have been feeling lately that I've just been running on empty as far as energy. You know, there's projects that I want to complete, but by the end of the night, I just feel exhausted. But that's because I need to take time and figure out what is sapping me of my energy. What is wasting my time? There's a cycle that's going, but we're skipping some steps. And at some point in my day, I'm exerting too much energy on one thing. Because see, we've all been given the same 24 hours. But if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, if our engines are running the way that they're supposed to be running, and we're in line and we're in sync, then we should be able to complete everything that we've set out to do. If we're running according to how God will want us to do. And so we have to figure out and pinpoint, where is the hindrance? Where is the break? Where are we getting off track? And so that's the conversation for today, y'all. Chime in. I want y'all to tell me what's your thoughts. Are you dealing with a cycle? Is there some things that you need to pinpoint and attack? That's what I want us to do. Pinpoint and attack. Pinpoint and attack the thing that's causing us to get off course. Whether it's get off course in your marriage, get off course in your finances, get off course in your health, get off course in your spending, whatever the course is, what is causing you to get off course? And we want to break those vicious cycles. We're tired of doing some of the same things that we were doing in 2018. We saw that it wasn't fruitful, but we found ourselves doing it anyway. We want to break that thing. We're tired of blaming and pushing the blame on this, that, and the other. We're taking ownership. We're taking ownership for the part that we had to play in getting us back to where we thought we were delivered from, or where we thought we progressed or we've graduated from. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? We want to identify that thing. Because see, in deliverance, that's one of the major components of deliverance, is identifying the thing that has you bound. And so there's areas in our lives that God is going to be delivering us from until we meet him face to face. Deliverance is ongoing. I don't want you to think that you're going to stop being delivered, or that deliverance is a punishment. Deliverance is not a punishment, it's a gift. And we're going to be constantly going through deliverance processes all of our lives. It's the grace of God that causes us to be able to be snatched out of these bad cycles. And I don't want you to think that you're a bad person, or that you got terrible issues, or that you're less saved, or whatever the case may be, because you find yourself in a bad cycle. Because you're human. You're going to go through a bad cycle in your life. But the grace of God is there to reset. The grace of God is there to get us back on track so that we can progress. We want to see progression in this season. So whether you're messed up because I'm messed up sometimes, whether you're messed up because of depression, or if you're messed up because of grief, or you're messed up because of bad spending, or you're messed up for whatever the case may be, we got to identify that thing so that we can attack it, so that we can move forward, and so that we could progress. So that's all, y'all. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope that this conversation helps somebody, even if it's to introspect, even if it's to think about your own life, even if it's to give a little bit of guidance on how to move forward. I hope that this conversation was a blessing to you. I hope that it was. I really wish there was so many things that was running through my mind that I wanted to touch on, and I hope that it came out in our conversation on today. I thank y'all all so much for watching. I thank you for your support here on the Candid Couch Conversation page. I hope that you get something out of this page. I really do. I hope that it's a blessing to you. I want you to share. Yes, I do. I want you to share with your friends, with your family. I hope that it motivates you or motivates someone. Share this with somebody that's trying to progress. Share this with somebody that's trying to move forward. Do that for me. Share it with somebody that, you know, that's finding themselves stuck in a cycle. Maybe they stuck in a rent cycle. Maybe they stuck on spin. But we want to move forward. We want to complete a cycle. We want to complete a cycle so that we can move forward. And I want to encourage all of you to continue to post on the page. Your participation is needed, is necessary. Just like I said on last week's live, you all contribute. Your voice matters. You're heard. And I want you to use this space and use this platform as a place to express encouragement, love, support. I want you to use this platform to edify. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And so there is more that's coming with this conversation of cycles. There is more that's coming on this conversation about curses and propensities, all of those things. I am planning to have a special guest within the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be talking about things that have been passed down from generation. Many of us go through some things because it's been passed down. Maybe you've picked it up in your life. Maybe it came down through a bloodline. But we want to discuss those things, and we want to deal with those things, and we want to get clarity, and we want to shine a light on those areas. So I want you to be a part of the discussion. I want you to chime in. I want you to be a part of it. Yeah, this is for us. We're doing better. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're doing better. Sometime this month, I will be posting the discussion that's going to take place for the rest of the year. So June, again, we're talking about cycles. We're talking about curses. We're talking about propensities. We're talking about all of those things that relate to our lives cycle-wise. We're talking about that. I got something in my spirit for July, but I'm not going to say it yet. But it's something that has been coming up over and over and over. And I believe God wants us to shine a light on that thing and talk about it. As I always say, big ideas, breakthroughs, landmarks, big things happen with conversation. And so that's what this is about, is us having a conversation, shining a light on some hard things. Also, we have grown. I see we're at 201 people on the page. Please help me to expand the borders. Help me to expand the conversation. I want you to add your friends. I want you to invite people to be a part of the discussion. People that you know that would be benefited by the board or by the wall or by the couch conversation, people that have something to bring. I want you to invite them. People that need encouragement on a regular basis, invite them to be a part of that. I want to see us grow. Amen. So I love y'all all so much. I'm rambling at this point. I'm about to get out this car. I have some stuff in the trunk that I need to get out. I'm so sad. Let me tell y'all, Saturday, I went to the Goodwill. Don't y'all hate when y'all see something and y'all leave it? I pray that it's there tomorrow. I saw this beautiful floor lamp, and I'm one that likes to refurbish things, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I could paint this with a white chalk paint, and I can distress this. And I found this really nice lampshade that I want to put on it, so I went on and got the lampshade while I was at Home Goods. But as I was driving, I'm like, oh, maybe I could go to Goodwill. Then I thought, it's Sunday, they're closed. I could go to Goodwill and pick up this lamp, but I hope that nobody picked it up, because I really want it. I already see in my head what I want to do to it. So yeah, that's what I was up to today, is just running errands. I went to church this morning, and so now I'm home. I'm about to do a little bit of cleaning and getting my life together for the rest of this week, and maybe eat a little dinner, because I have not ate dinner yet. Lord help me. So yeah, I'm home now. I'm about to get in this house. Thank you all for watching. Please continue to share. If you're just jumping on, catch the replay. I hope that you're blessed by it, and I'll talk to y'all on next check-in. I may pop in this week, I don't know, but if not, just catch the replay, share with somebody. I love y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.